In the beginning of the drama, we see our male lead Songjian and the female lead Ifan. The two have just broken up. The reason isn't revealed yet, but Songjian is very sad. Crying, he says that whenever he needed her, Ifan only used him for her own work, and then he walks away. On the other side, Ifan is also very troubled by this breakup. 6 years later, the story moves forward. Now Ifan works as a temporary employee at a TV station. Her habit is that she sleeps until noon. Just then, her friend Xiaosha calls her. While talking, she finds out that Ifan has just woken up, so she scolds her a lot. The two decide that at night, they'll eat together at a newly opened restaurant. When they reach there at night, Ifan doesn't like the restaurant's name, Overtime, at all. Her friend jokes that if the boss ever calls, they'll say they're working overtime. Laughing, both go inside. But as soon as she enters, Ifan is shocked. The owner of that restaurant is none other than her ex-boyfriend, Songjian. Seeing him, Ifan panics and wants to leave before he notices her. Just then, a staff member accidentally spills juice on her clothes. Making an excuse of cleaning her clothes, she goes to the washroom. After thinking for a long time, when she comes out, Songjian is already waiting for her. He stops her, apologizes for his staff's mistake, and offers her his coat to wear. But he behaves as if he doesn't recognize her at all. He doesn't even take her name and only calls her ma'am. Ifan thinks that maybe after 6 years he couldn't recognize her. But the truth is that Songjian has already recognized her. He's just deliberately pretending not to know her. After this, Xiaosha again tries to meet the restaurant owner, but Ifan takes her away from there. Later, a staff member again apologizes and offers them free food, but Ifan clearly refuses. She pays the full bill for the food and even leaves a tip before going. On the way home, she remembers her old days. In her school days, her biggest dream was to become a dancer, but now that dream has broken. She stays lost in these memories and can't properly listen to her friends talk either. On reaching home, the people living in the building greet her lovingly, but then a man living there tries to attack her. Hearing her scream, another man comes and saves her. A fight breaks out between the two men, and during this, Ifan runs away from there. Later, the matter reaches the police and both are arrested. After this incident, Ifan gets very scared. That same night, she goes to her friend Xiaosha's house. Xiaosha understands her condition and asks her to stay with her. There's a big shared house there where many people live like a family. All through the night, Ifan can't sleep. The old incidents that happened with her keep coming back to her mind. She also remembers her mother, but her mother never stood by her. This is what hurts her the most. The next morning, everyone at Xiaosha's house calls her to have breakfast with them. Their warmth gives her a little peace. After that, she reaches work. There, she finds out that she saved someone's life by showing bravery in an accident, so the police are honoring her. Everyone at the office praises her, but she herself can't understand how she became so brave. She starts thinking that in tough times, courage comes to her, but at other times, why does she feel so weak? That same day, her chief gives her good news that she has now got a permanent job at the company. Hearing this, Ifan becomes very happy. The team leaves for the New Year live coverage, but on the way, they get stuck in a traffic jam. Meanwhile, she suddenly runs into Songjian again. Seeing him, she tries to hide because she doesn't want to meet him again. Songjian also walks past as if he hasn't seen her at all. Only then does Ifan breathe a sigh of relief. Later, she meets her friend, who is also doing delivery work to earn extra money. Because of the extreme cold, Ifan gives her some warm items. Then, to hide her own identity, she wears a mask and walks toward the washroom. There's a long line outside the washroom. In that same line is Songjian's younger sister. Ifan feels she has seen this girl somewhere, but because of the mask, she can't place her. Just then, Songjian arrives there with his mother. Ifan panics and silently prays that he doesn't recognize her. Songjian's mother worries about her daughter's exams and asks her son to explain things to her. While the brother and sister are talking, a friend of theirs makes a video call. Meanwhile, Ifan tries to message Songjian to wish him a happy new year, but then she finds out that Songjian has blocked her. Seeing this, she becomes sad again. Wanting to wish Songjian for the new year, Ifan creates a new group. First, she adds several people to it, then removes everyone, leaving only herself and Songjian. After that, she sends him a Happy New Year message. Seeing the message, Songjian is surprised and sends back only a question mark. Ifan thinks maybe he didn't recognize her, but instead of giving her name, she too sends back only a question mark. Both keep sending small messages like this for a while. Finally, Ifan writes to him that even if this new year doesn't start with happiness, there's no need to be sad. At the same time, the New Year live coverage is about to start on the TV channel. During the countdown, suddenly Ifan bumps into Songjian in the crowd. He does recognize her, but pretends not to know her, and walks ahead while talking on the phone. Just then, Ifan hears Happy New Year from his mouth. She turns around to look, but Songjian has already walked far away, talking on the phone. After this, the story is shown from Songjian's point of view. In reality, he had spotted Ifan from the very beginning. He knew she was trying to avoid him, so he didn't bother her either. Even while she wore the mask, he had recognized her, and the Happy New Year he said in the crowd was actually meant for her. But his friend thought he was talking to him. Hearing this, Songjian gets irritated and hangs up the phone. After this, a school flashback is shown. When Ifan first came to school, she didn't know the way to her class. She asked Songjian, who was playing basketball. Joking, he told her to look at the notice board. Later, both turned out to be in the same class. On the very first day, coming late, the teacher scolded them both and made them sit together. From that time, a slight liking for Songjian began growing in Ifan's heart. In the present, after the New Year recording finishes, Xiaosha insists again on going to party at the overtime restaurant. At first, Ifan refuses, but agrees for her friend's happiness. Just then, her chief tells her that the New Year is a chance to leave old sorrows behind and make a fresh start. Hearing this, Ifan takes a picture of the fireworks and writes on social media that this year she just wants a calm and peaceful life. Meanwhile, the party is going on at the restaurant. Xiaosha falls down while dancing, and Songjian's friend helps her. During their conversation, he finds out that Ifan and Songjian were very close to each other during school. He immediately messages Ifan asking if he is her old boyfriend, but Ifan doesn't answer anyone and spends the whole night waiting for Songjian's reply. The next morning, Ifan goes with a co-worker to see a new room. The roommate shows her the room and tells her the rent. At first, hearing the amount, Ifan is shocked, but then she thinks that it's better to pay a little more rent and live in a safe home than to live in an unsafe place. Finally, she decides to live there. After this, her roommate asks her to come along for a meal with her ex-boyfriend. Ifan asks in surprise, if he's an ex, why is she going with him? The roommate laughs and says she has booked a table at an expensive restaurant, so it would be foolish to waste the opportunity. When they reach there, it turns out the guy is Songjian's friend, Suhan. Suhan recognizes Ifan and talks about the previous night. He also asks her to sit and talk with them. At first, Ifan refuses, but agrees when the roommate insists. A boy sleeping on the back seat of the car suddenly wakes up. It's Songjian. As soon as their eyes meet, both are startled. Suhan brings up old memories and reminds them that back in school, the two were in love with each other, but both avoid talking about the topic. Reaching the restaurant, the other friends also see Ifan and start joking that maybe she's Songjian's girlfriend. Laughing, Suhan tells them she's their old classmate. Then he jokes that with such a beautiful girl, Songjian never stood a chance. Hearing this, Songjian starts glaring at him. It turns out that these four friends together run the restaurant. Just as the food is about to start, Suhan suddenly announces that they're celebrating Songjian's birthday. Songjian asks who gave permission for this, but his friends laugh and say surprise parties don't need permission. Everyone together wishes him a happy birthday. A little later, near the washroom, Ifan tries to talk to Songjian alone. She says it's been so many years since they last met. Songjian immediately replies that they just met yesterday on New Year. Then he taunts her, saying it was she who tried to hide behind a mask. Ifan explains that she thought he wouldn't recognize her. To this, Songjian says it wasn't him, but his sister who recognized her first. Ifan also jokes that she was looking at him because his zipper was open. Hearing this, Songjian becomes completely embarrassed. After a while, Ifan makes an excuse about work and leaves from there. While waiting outside for a taxi, Songjian comes up to her. Making an excuse of looking for his friend's car, he talks to her. Then he says that it's difficult to get a taxi this late at night, and he can drop her home. But in the middle of the conversation, he taunts her about the distance to her house. Hearing this, Ifan gets annoyed and starts walking alone on foot. Songjian watches her leave and finally drives after her in his car. Songjian finally reaches Ifan with the car and says that he never refused to drop her home. Ifan gets into the car. On the way, she says he should drop her at the nearby railway station, but Songjian, without saying anything, keeps driving her further. On the way, Ifan asks why his friends were eating on the roadside. Songjian tells her they were making a lot of noise, so he left from there. Then Ifan remembers that today is her birthday. Songjian smiles and asks if she forgot that too. At that moment, an old flashback is shown. During school days, Songjian always remembered Ifan's birthday and gave her gifts. When Ifan asked why such a special gift, he'd say the real point is that she herself forgets her own birthday. Then shyly, he also tells her that his own birthday is January 2nd. In the present, remembering all this, Ifan thinks to herself that she hasn't forgotten anything. In the midst of the conversation, the railway station passes by. Ifan says, drop her at the next station, but Songjian jokes that he isn't her driver. Finally, he drops her safely home. Ifan thanks him and says that someday she'll do something special for him. Songjian smiles and asks if they'll meet again. But without answering, Ifan just says thank you and leaves. He stays sitting in the car until he's sure she has reached safely inside the house. But as soon as she reaches home, Ifan sees that some thugs have caught her cat. They are people from the same gang whose associate had earlier been caught by the police. They've come to take revenge on her. Somehow, Ifan frees the cat and runs. Just then, Songjan, who hadn't gone far yet, sees all of this. He runs to help her and tries to take her to a safe place. The thugs attack him. Songjian fights them alone and takes several injuries, but finally defeats all three. Later, the police arrive and arrest all three thugs. After this, Ifan asks him to go to the hospital, but Songjian, angry, asks why she didn't ask him for help when he had already seen her earlier. Ifan, emotional, says she didn't want him to be in danger because of her. Hearing this, Songjan's anger calms down. Now he decides that Ifan will not live in that old house anymore. He himself helps shift her things to the new house. On the way, Ifan buys medicine for his injuries from a medical store. At first, he refuses to apply the medicine, but later agrees. When Ifan comes close to apply medicine to the wound on the back of his neck, both feel a little uncomfortable for a moment. While packing things, Songjian asks why she didn't change houses when such incidents had happened before too. Ifan says she thought there wouldn't be any more trouble once the thugs went to jail. Songjian, without saying anything more, helps carry all her things to the new house. Reaching the new house, Ifan again thanks him and says that someday she'll repay the favor by cooking him a meal. But Songjian says that in such a situation, he'd help anyone. Then he has the things placed upstairs and starts to leave. Just then, he remembers that Ifan left the key to the old house in his car. He goes back to the old house to return the key. There he overhears the same man released from jail, sitting with his friends, laughing and saying that if there had been a camera that day, they would have ruined Ifan's life. Hearing this, Songjian angrily beats up those men. After this, another school flashback comes. One day, during an extra class, the power suddenly goes out. In the dark, Ifan gets scared. Songjian quietly keeps watching her. His friend jokes that he likes her. Later, when both are walking home together, Ifan herself brings up the topic. Songjian starts feeling shy, but Ifan laughs and says there's nothing to be shy about. Hearing this, Songjian becomes very happy. In the present, Ifan reaches her new house. Her roommate is surprised but welcomes her. After learning Ifan has a cat, she says she's allergic, so the cat can't stay. The next day, Ifan leaves the cat with Xiaosha, who happily agrees to care for it. Meanwhile, the roommate breaks up with her ex, Suhan, and decides to return all his gifts through Xiaosha. Heartbroken, Suhan tells them to throw everything in the trash instead of bringing it back, showing he still loves her while she never took the relationship seriously. The next day, Songjian messages Ifan that he still has her house key. She realizes he just wants to meet her. He asks her to collect it at his restaurant that night. Feeling awkward, Ifan brings two colleagues along. Songjian returns the key and tries to leave, but Ifan insists on treating him to a meal they had promised before. He agrees to meet the next day. While deciding what to eat, Songjian keeps saying anything is fine, but rejects every suggestion. Their playful argument is interrupted by a call informing him that his house is on fire. He stays calm, joking that he's not a firefighter. Curious, reporter Ifan finds the address and goes with him. She learns the fire started because he forgot to switch off his electric scooter while charging. Reporters gather expecting him to be devastated, but Songjian smiles and says he's happy and hopes everyone else is happy too. The media is shocked. Watching the news later, Ifan realizes those words were meant for her because on New Year's, she had told him it was okay not to be happy. The next morning, Ifan's roommate says she's moving away for work. Ifan worries about paying the full rent, but the roommate promises to share this month's expenses and find a replacement. Ifan specifically asks for a female roommate. That night, Ifan returns the old house key to the landlord. He blames her for other tenants leaving, but Ifan reminds him the unsafe building was his fault and threatens to expose him in the news. The frightened landlord immediately backs down. Back home, Ifan finds the door open and thinks a thief has entered. Just as she's about to call the police, Songjian walks out. Both are shocked to discover the roommate rented the vacant room to Songjian. Ifan scolds her roommate while Songjian scolds his friend, who secretly arranged everything. His friend says he's getting another chance with his first love, but Songjian says he's only worried about troubling Ifan. If he'd known earlier, she wouldn't have mistaken him for a thief. Ifan worries about living with a man. Songjian offers to stay at a hotel and casually books a 5-star one. Surprised, Ifan asks why someone so rich needs a shared flat. He admits the restaurant isn't doing well, and after the fire, he can't afford better. Ifan keeps making excuses, even blaming the cat, but Songjian answers each one. Finally, he says he has no romantic feelings anymore, and only needs 3 months before finding another place. Ifan agrees to let him stay for now. While leaving, Ifan accidentally asks if he'll sleep with her instead of saying, sleep in the room. Embarrassed, she blushes as Songjian teases her before she quickly runs away. The next morning, Ifan notices he's already gone. Later, she meets her former roommate at a cafe. The roommate insists living together may reunite them, but Ifan angrily denies having feelings. She also reveals Songjian never dated anyone in college, besides always being with Duan. When the roommate suggests she date someone else, Ifan criticizes her for treating relationships like transactions, and they part after arguing. Later, an office friend advises that if Songjian is trustworthy, sharing the apartment shouldn't be a problem. Remembering how many times he saved her, Ifan decides to talk to him. She asks him to come home at 8 p.m. Songjin arrives, saying he stayed at a 5-star hotel. Ifan finally proposes house rules: respect privacy, never enter each other's rooms, split rent and expenses, and always inform each other before bringing guests home. Asked about girlfriends, Songjian says he has none and isn't interested. Ifan says she'll inform him if she ever gets a boyfriend, making him smile. Although he offered to pay more for the bigger room, Songjian chooses the smaller one while still paying the higher rent. They officially become roommates. That night, Ifan wonders if she agreed, because Songjian still quietly cares about her. Meanwhile, Songjian visits his burned house searching for his old phone because it contains Ifan's messages. After finding it, he reads a message where she excitedly told him about her college admission and asked him to call her. He becomes emotional. A school flashback shows classmates gossiping about them. Songjian asks if the rumors bother her, but she ignores it and asks why he isn't wearing sports clothes. During practice, he runs beside her. When she asks if he's following her, he smiles and says openly, not secretly. The next morning, Songjian moves into the apartment. Movers accidentally rearrange Ifan's belongings too, saying her boyfriend ordered it. She is stunned until Songjian explains everything was free. He also brings a toy for the cat, saying she can throw it away if she dislikes it. After he leaves, Ifan smiles and keeps it. Later, Songjian accidentally transfers 520 rupees extra with the rent. Thinking it's a mistake, Ifan sends it back. He says it was intentional. After checking again, Ifan realizes the mistake was hers and feels embarrassed. Songjian jokes that everyone makes calculation mistakes. Meanwhile, Xiaosha wakes up in Songjin's friend's house with no memory of the previous night. Both panic and check the restaurant CCTV, which shows they simply came home drunk, laughing together, amusing everyone. Songjian's friend cooks breakfast, but Xiaosha leaves after learning their old classmate Xian has returned from abroad. Back home, Xiaosha tells Ifan through a video call that Xian is back and everyone plans to meet. Songjian overhears and quietly becomes jealous. Xiaosha jokes about making Songjian a roommate too, but Ifan says she already has one. After the call, Songjian casually asks who Xian is, pretending not to know. Ifan explains, while Songjian dismisses him as unimportant. He invites everyone to his restaurant, books a table, and offers only a 1% discount, making Ifan secretly call him the stingiest man alive. Ifan also suggests improving the restaurant's exterior. Songjian listens but says he won't renovate just because of one opinion. The next day at work, a senior misbehaves with Ifan, causing her to spill coffee. Instead of blaming him, everyone blames her. This reminds her of her previous job, where a director harassed her, his wife slapped her publicly, and the company forced her to resign, damaging her reputation. While covering a news story, Ifan interviews a father who beat up men for harassing his teenage daughter. Watching the father protect his child reminds her of her own father. She recalls how he always hugged her whenever she was afraid of snow. That evening, Songjian waits for her at home and gently complains she should have informed him she'd be late. Ifan realizes he was worried and promises to message next time. Then Duwan suddenly walks out of the bathroom. Songjian admits he forgot to tell her his friend was visiting, breaking their own roommate rule. He apologizes, and Ifan forgives him because it's the first mistake. Later, Ifan tells her friends on a video call that Songjian is now her roommate. Xian is clearly unhappy because he likes her too. She also tells them about the restaurant invitation and the 1% discount, making everyone laugh. The next day, Ifan leaves to meet everyone. Songjian reminds her about the reservation, then secretly follows because he wants to see Xian. When Ifan meets Xian, he is about to hug her, but Xiaosha jumps in and hugs everyone together. Watching this, Songjian burns with jealousy. His friend joins them, and everyone heads to Songjian's restaurant. On the way, Xian wants Ifan to sit in front, but Songjian deliberately takes the front seat, saying he's taller. A flashback shows Xian's first day at school. Boys joked that Ifan would leave Songjian for the handsome newcomer. Angry, Songjian forced the boy to apologize, not only to Ifan but also to him because he refused to be compared with anyone. At the restaurant, Xian keeps ordering Ifan's favorite dishes while ignoring Xiaosha. Songjian's jealousy grows. His friend jokes that both Xian and Songjian are acting as if Ifan is their wife. To ease the atmosphere, everyone starts truth or dare. Songjian's friend loses first. His dare is to kiss someone nearby, so he kisses Songjian on the cheek and jokes that he used to do the same in college, leaving everyone shocked while Songjian blushes. Next, Ifan has to describe the best quality of every guy. She calls Songjian's friend rich, Xian handsome and smart, and Songjan calm, trustworthy, and brave. Songjan feels happy but slightly jealous of Xian's praise. Then Xian loses and reveals his biggest regret. He wishes he had studied in the same college as Yifan and Xiaosha instead of going abroad. Songjian misunderstands this, believing Yifan left him because of Xian. Yifan realizes his misunderstanding but stays silent. A school flashback follows. Before exam holidays, Yifan notices Songjian has no books. He lies that they're already home, but his friend exposes him by mentioning their game. Yifan laughs. After school, Songjian walks with her, saying they share the same route. They ride the bus together, chatting happily. Back in the present, Songjian keeps thinking Xian caused their breakup, unaware Yifan is hiding the real reason. He intentionally loses the game to save Yifan from difficult questions. Asked where he last went, he replies it was the college Yifan attended. Yifan is stunned, realizing he never forgot her. After dinner, Xian offers to pay, but Songjian refuses, saying friends don't charge friends. Xiaosha begins seeing him as generous instead of stingy. Xian drops Yifan home and asks if she still regrets choosing another college. She says regrets can't change the past. In reality, she had promised Songjian they'd attend the same college, but circumstances forced her to change. Meanwhile, Songjian's friend says he was clearly jealous of Xian, proving he still loves Yifan. Songjian denies it, calling them only roommates. His friend recalls how, after their results, Yifan suddenly chose another college, saying if she stayed with him he'd always follow her, then broke up with him, leaving Songjian heartbroken. At home, Yifan receives Songjian's message saying he won't return that night and should lock the door. She types a long reply but deletes it, sending only, okay. Songjian feels disappointed. For the next few days, the same happens while he sleeps at the restaurant, remembering how he always saved her a bus seat and pretended his leg was numb so she could sit. The next day, Yifan's mother invites her home for Chinese New Year, but she refuses. After her father's death, her mother remarried and had a daughter, Jia. Unable to forget the past, Yifan leaves without agreeing. Xiaosha later discovers Songjian has been sleeping at the restaurant. Yifan admits they never fought but have simply become distant roommates. That night, Songjian again says he won't return, and again Yifan replies only, okay. Songjian's friend drops Xiaosha home. People mistake them for a couple, embarrassing her. Then Songjian's friend's grandmother calls, insisting he bring his girlfriend home for New Year, leaving him speechless since he broke up long ago. At work, everyone watches Songjian's viral video where he says he hopes everyone can be as happy as he is. Yifan worries his face wasn't hidden, but later smiles while rewatching it. Songjian unexpectedly returns home. He jokes that he can't just keep paying rent without living there. Yifan notices the kitchen supplies have been replaced. He says the old ones expired, refuses repayment, and says they'll share household expenses. She later asks what she owes, and he jokingly replies, 20 rupees. Making her laugh. In truth, he returned because he heard she'd spend New Year alone. At work, New Year duty is assigned. Everyone avoids it except Yifan, who volunteers and is praised. Meanwhile, Songjian's friend asks Xiaosha to pretend to be his girlfriend for his grandmother. She agrees strictly as a favor. The company distributes bonuses. That evening, Yifan gives New Year food to the watchman and meets his family, which reminds her of her late father. A flashback shows Yifan learning of her father's death. She rushes to the hospital while Songjian follows, stops the departing bus, stays beside her, covers her with his coat, promises never to leave her alone, and waits outside the hospital. On New Year's Eve, Xiaosha video calls Yifan with her family before leaving Yifan alone. Then Songjian arrives, pretending he escaped a crowded house. Actually, he simply didn't want her to spend New Year alone. He brings homemade food, saying he cooked too much. Yifan first refuses, but then praises his cooking. They laugh, eat together, and watch TV, making Yifan realize she enjoys his company. During dinner, Yifan's mother video calls. Songjian quietly lowers the TV volume and gives her privacy. After the call, Yifan recalls childhood memories. Following her father's death, relatives persuaded her mother to remarry. Yifan was sent to her grandmother, then later to her uncle, where she felt unwanted. Once, with no money for food, Songjian silently gave her 20 rupees and told her to always ask him whenever she needed help. The next morning, Xiaosha and Xian surprise Yifan at home. When Xian tries to look inside Songjian's room, Yifan stops him, saying it's private. Songjian then calls, hears voices, and asks if guests are over. Yifan nervously says she forgot to tell him. He calmly replies they'll discuss it when he returns. Worried, Yifan goes out with Xiaosha and Xian. Xiaosha leaves after receiving a call, giving Xian a chance to spend time alone with Yifan. Meanwhile, Xiaosha goes to help Songjian's friend act as his girlfriend before his grandmother. Xian lends Yifan his jacket, buys medicine for her, and later invites her to dinner. Remembering Songjian cooked for her, she refuses and returns home. At home, she finds Songjian eating the food himself. She apologizes, but he says he only cooked it so it wouldn't be wasted. He reminds her of their roommate rule, always inform the other before bringing guests home. Yifan asks about her punishment. Songjin smiles and says tomorrow he'll invite someone home without telling her. Ifan immediately assumes he's bringing a girlfriend and spends the whole night restless. Finally, another school flashback reveals how everything began. Some boys harass Ifan, so Songjian beats them up. Both families are called to the principal's office. The principal warns them to focus on studies instead of love. Ifan denies they're in love, but Songjian boldly admits that for now, the love is only from his side. His parents calmly tell him to finish his studies first, while Ifan's aunt harshly scolds her and even threatens to transfer her to another school so she can never meet Songjian again. At the office, Songjian texts Ifan to bring pizza because a guest is coming. Thinking it's his girlfriend, she gets jealous, buys the pizza, and returns home, only to find it's actually Songjian's younger sister. During dinner, the sister reveals no relatives visited on New Year's, making Ifan realize Songjian had lied just to keep her company that night. The sister then exposes an old-school prank. A flashback reveals Songjian had asked her to pretend to get lost, so Ifan would meet him, after which all three ate ice cream together. Ifan laughs while Songjian feels embarrassed. That night, the three eat together. When the sister mentions the college Ifan and Songjian once dreamed of attending, Songjian asks why she never enrolled there. Ifan avoids answering, leaving him disappointed. Later, Songjian's sister tells him Ifan thinks he doesn't work, and also reminds him how well he still treats her. Returning home, Songjian finds Ifan watching fireworks alone. They spend a quiet evening together, laughing over his terrible cooking. Meanwhile, Xiaosha pretends to be Songjin's friend's girlfriend before his grandmother. Although the grandmother immediately realizes the truth, she warmly accepts Xiaosha anyway. At work, Ifan receives New Year money from her mother. A flashback reminds her of the last New Year with her father, who gave her money despite being hospitalized, and wished that mother and daughter would be together again. Remembering his wish, Ifan agrees to visit her mother. Meanwhile, Xiaosha wins the grandmother's heart with her hardworking nature, and the grandmother happily keeps her contact number. At Ifan's mother's house, Ifan discovers she now has a younger half-brother. Soon her aunt arrives asking for financial help. Ifan shuts her down before telling her mother she only came to fulfill her father's last wish. To her, both parents now belong to the past, and she quietly leaves. Outside, Songjian is lighting fireworks. They enjoy them together, triggering another flashback where, after Ifan's dance classes ended due to financial problems, Songjian secretly found her a rooftop where she could continue practicing. He stayed there every day to support her. That night, Ifan dreams her aunt and cousin are chasing her. Terrified, she wakes up crying and instinctively hugs Songjian. He silently comforts her before she returns to her room. The next morning, Songjian messages asking why she hugged him, but Ifan remembers nothing. Even face-to-face, the misunderstanding continues. Later, Ifan tells Xiaosha about the dream, saying a bright light hugged her and removed all her fear. They laugh about it. Meanwhile, Xiaosha meets Xian, believing it's a romantic dinner. She shows him the necklace she treasured for years, only to learn it was actually meant for Ifan. Heartbroken, she leaves, and Ifan later senses something is wrong. That night, Songjin loudly jokes on the phone that a girl hugged him without explanation and asks if he should report her to the police. Hearing this, Ifan laughs and says maybe she only saw him as a friend. Realizing the hug meant nothing romantic, Songjian quietly feels disappointed. The next day, Ifan comforts Xiaosha, and both promise no boy will ruin their friendship. Ifan admits she truly loves Songjian during school, but believes those feelings are gone now and assumes he's moved on. Xiaosha doesn't believe her. A flashback shows Songjian once took Ifan to watch a movie. He chose romance, but she insisted on horror because scary movies helped her forget her pain. Hearing this, Songjian silently understood her loneliness. In the present, outside the office, Ifan meets Chung, a famous actor preparing for a role as a beggar. After joking with her and giving an autograph, he leaves. That evening, Songjian calls Ifan to help with grocery shopping. She carefully chooses only cheap items, so he secretly adds the expensive ones she skipped into his cart. At checkout, he pays for everything together while Ifan insists she'll return her share later. Chung meets Ifan while Songjian goes back to get her umbrella, but Songjian returns, takes her away, and later asks if she knows Chung. At home, they discover Chung is a famous horror actor. Ifan enjoys his horror movie, while Songjian gets scared trying to act brave. The next day, Songjian joins his friend's gaming company after a successful interview, wanting to prove to Ifan that he works hard. Meanwhile, Ifan's aunt visits her office, tries to arrange her marriage, but co-workers and security throw her out after she refuses. That night, Songjian sees Ifan sleepwalking for the first time without realizing it. The next day, she remembers nothing. Later, Ifan and Xiaosha meet an old classmate. Then a flashback reveals Ifan distanced herself from Songjian in school because her aunt humiliated her and her mother refused to help. Xiaosha tells her she should apologize. Back home, Songjian cleverly asks about sleepwalking while watching a movie. Ifan admits she developed it after her father's death, and he finally tells her she's been sleepwalking recently. To tease her, he lies that she kissed him instead of hugging him, leaving Ifan completely embarrassed. That night, Ifan blocks her bedroom door to stop herself from sleepwalking, while Songjian learns online that stress and past trauma caused the condition. The next day, on her father's death anniversary, she visits his grave. Songjian secretly prepares her favorite meal, and that night she sleepwalks again, this time actually kissing him before returning to bed. A flashback shows Songjian also visited her father's grave and promised to protect Ifan forever. The next morning, she realizes she sleepwalked again, but Songjian only teases her instead of telling the truth. Soon, famous actor Chung joins Ifan's office as an intern. Around the same time, Songjian mistakenly transfers extra rent money, jokes she should keep it, and keeps teasing her about her sleepwalking damage, making Ifan increasingly embarrassed. While covering a missing girl case, Chung constantly follows Ifan and tries getting close to her. Xiaosha realizes Chung likes her, but Ifan ignores it. To check whether she really sleepwalks, Ifan invites Xiaosha to stay over. Songjian later returns home with Duan, and Ifan playfully teases the two like they're a couple. The missing girl investigation takes Ifan to Hong Kong, where she learns the girl refuses to return because her remarried mother abandoned her, just like Ifan's own past. After delivering the girl's message to her mother, Ifan returns home. Later, everyone attends Chung's welcome party at Songjian's restaurant. Chung keeps staying close to Ifan, making Songjian jealous. After the party, Chung pretends to be drunk, but Songjian sees through him and safely brings Ifan back. On the way, Ifan remembers Songjian once pretended to be drunk during school just to escort her home. Back home, she falls asleep on his shoulder and unknowingly tells him she'll make him fall in love with her again, leaving Songjian stunned. That night, Ifan decides to treat him better. Pretending to sleepwalk, she hugs Songjian to complete the unfinished farewell from years ago. Believing she's really asleep, Songjian hugs her back, while Ifan quietly returns to her room, blushing. The next morning, Ifan nervously asks if she sleepwalked again. Smiling, Songjian says, "Yes, this time you hugged me." Embarrassed, she pretends not to remember. The following morning, Songjian teases her even more, claiming she also tried to take off his shirt. Ifan panics and apologizes, saying she'll visit a doctor again, while Songjian keeps laughing. At the office, Songjian pretends something is stuck in his hair. As Ifan checks, he gently pats her head. The new intern Chung sees this and assumes they're dating. Soon the whole office starts gossiping, irritating Chung. That evening, Chung follows Ifan home, claiming he heard she needed a new roommate. Despite her refusal, he walks inside. Songjian is shocked to see him. Chung says he'll move in if Songjian moves out, making Songjian jealous. Ifan firmly says she doesn't want another roommate and sends Chung away. Songjian secretly feels relieved. After Chung leaves, Songjian asks how much longer she wants him to stay. Nervously, Ifan jokes he can stay until he gets a girlfriend. But alone in her room, she sadly thinks he'll leave one day too, so she shouldn't become too attached. The next morning, she deliberately avoids the breakfast Songjian makes. At work, Chung brings her breakfast, but she gives it away. Later, Chung apologizes for yesterday and questions why she's living with Songjian. Ifan replies that Songjian has never troubled her. When Chung tells her to recognize who truly loves her, she smiles and says she already knows the difference between good and bad people. Soon, the security guard says someone is waiting outside. It's her mother. Though unwilling, Ifan finally speaks with her. Her mother explains she forgot to mention they were visiting the aunt's house. Furious, Ifan asks why she still keeps ties with those people after everything. Her mother tries to justify the past. Painful memories return. As a child, while living with her aunt, the aunt's brother tried to assault her. Instead of believing her, everyone blamed her, including her own mother. Fighting back tears, Ifan ends the conversation and leaves. Her mother gives her favorite cake before she goes, but it changes nothing. Even at home, Ifan distances herself from Songjian. He notices she's troubled, but doesn't force her to talk. That night, she sleepwalks again. Realizing it only happens when she's emotionally overwhelmed, Songjian quietly guides her back to bed. The next morning, Ifan notices that objects outside her room have moved again. She assumes she's imagining things. Later, Chung asks her to help buy a gift for a little girl. She refuses, telling him to ask another girl instead. Using the excuse of brushing dust off her clothes, Chung tries touching her. Ifan immediately pulls away and firmly says she dislikes being touched. That evening, Songjian's younger sister arrives after getting admitted to the same college Ifan once attended. Songjian is upset she never told him. Later, his sister tells Ifan how devastated Songjian was after she suddenly disappeared from his life. Filled with guilt, Ifan quietly listens. During dinner, the sister notices a bruise on Ifan's hand. Ifan blames sleepwalking. Remembering he also bumped into something sharp that night, Songjian buys sponge padding and safety tape, covering every dangerous corner of the house so she won't get hurt. That night, Ifan sleepwalks into Songjian's room again while he's asleep. In the morning, she quietly tries to leave, but Songjian wakes up, catches her hand, and teasingly asks why she came. She quickly blames sleepwalking. Laughing, he asks if people dream while sleepwalking too. Embarrassed, she runs away. Later, he asks again. Ifan insists nothing happened. When Songjian reminds her she hugged him, she laughs and says they're even now. Too embarrassed to face him afterward, she works late and even goes shopping with her friend. While shopping, her friend again talks about how heartbroken Songjian was after graduation. Ifan feels guilty. Returning home late, she unexpectedly runs into Songjian after his shower and becomes nervous. He jokes that the girl who hugged and kissed him is now shy just because he's shirtless. Ifan again blames sleepwalking. This time, Songjian seriously tells her to keep her distance from other men until she's fully recovered. His words make Ifan realize something. When Chung tried touching her, she hated it, but Songjian's touch never bothered her. She begins to understand she may still love him. That night, she notices all the sponge padding and safety tape Songjian secretly installed to protect her. Deeply moved, she quietly watches him as he jokingly says they're finally even before returning to his room. Unable to understand his teasing, Ifan describes the whole situation to her friend at work as if it happened to someone else. Different co-workers offer different opinions. Chung says the man is only embarrassing her. Ifan stops everyone, saying it's wrong to judge someone behind their back. Back home, she realizes that if Songjian truly disliked her, he could have pushed her away while she sleepwalked, but instead he always protected her. While she's lost in thought, Songjin catches her staring. She changes the topic, and they clean the house together. Afterward, feeling guilty for troubling him, Ifan tells Songjian she'll move out soon. Hurt, Songjian realizes she misunderstood his jokes. He never saw her as a burden. The next day, Ifan and Xiaoxia search for a new apartment. They like one, but the rent is too expensive. They leave without deciding. Later, when the agent calls, Ifan admits she can't make up her mind. Xiaoxia reminds her that if Songjian truly had a problem with her sleepwalking, he would have said so long ago. Instead, he's always cared for her, so she shouldn't rush into leaving. That night, Xiaoxia sees Ifan sleepwalking into Songjin's room once again while he's away. The next day, Xiaoxia takes Ifan to a doctor. The doctor says excessive stress may be causing the sleepwalking and prescribes medicine. When asked about stress, Ifan first denies it, but memories of her mother and aunt resurface. She realizes those old wounds still haunt her. Xiaoxia jokes that maybe dating a good man would help reduce her stress. That evening, Songjian returns home early. While eating together, he asks what the doctor said. Ifan replies the doctor recommended living with someone she trusts. Smiling, Songjian asks if that means she won't move out anymore. Ifan happily says that if he has no problem with her, she'll stay. Just then, the agent calls and Ifan officially declines the apartment. Seeing this, Songjian can't hide his happiness. The next day, Songjian's mother brings a girl home for a blind date. Ifan serves water and quietly leaves. His mother recognizes her from their school days and jokingly asks if she's Songjian's old girlfriend. Embarrassed, Ifan says they were only friends. Later, Songjian's mother asks if he likes the girl. He clearly says he loves only one person and is trying to win her back. His mother is delighted. Outside, Ifan overhears only half the conversation and wrongly assumes he's talking about the blind date girl, leaving her upset. Songjian later takes his mother and the girl out for dinner. Alone, Ifan imagines they're enjoying their date, unaware they were actually discussing her. That night, Songjian returns with food, saying he waited to eat with her. They dine together, but Ifan can't stop thinking about his date. Sensing her distraction, Songjian teases her. When Ifan comments on his clothes, he jokes maybe she's looking at him romantically. Remembering Xiaoxia's advice that dating might reduce her stress, Ifan accidentally blurts out, "Yes, I can't control myself." Songjin is shocked before joking that she probably meant she wanted to hit him. Embarrassed, Ifan stays silent. A flashback shows that even after their breakup, Songjian never forgot her. Every birthday at midnight he tried calling, until one year he discovered she'd changed her number. Even now, he still treasures old bus tickets and memories of her. Back in the present, a co-worker announces her pregnancy. That evening, Songjian asks Ifan to bring a box from the fridge. Inside is a strawberry cake for her birthday. She realizes he still remembers every special date and all her favorite things. Before cutting it, she silently wishes, remembering her father. When Songjin asks about her wish, she changes the topic. He jokes he thought she'd wished for him to become her boyfriend, making her blush. Afterward, Songjin tells her he also has a gift. Ifan searches for it while he gently pats her head and softly wishes her happy birthday. Inside the gift is a perfume named first frost. She recalls telling him in school she was born on the year's first snowfall. Deeply touched, she realizes he still remembers every little detail. Meanwhile, Songjan's friend confesses he likes Xiaosha but fears ruining their friendship. Songjan laughs that he's too busy trying to win over his own girl. The next day, Xiaosha wishes Yifan happy birthday. During their outing, Yifan finally admits she wants to fall in love with Songjan again. Xiaosha happily promises to help. That night, Yifan thanks Songjian for the gift and asks when his birthday is. He happily replies it's 69 days away. She jokes he shouldn't forget, and he says he'll remind her every day. Smiling, Yifan thinks she'll always have a reason to meet him. At work, Yifan tells her friends she's trying to love Songjian again. Though surprised, they encourage her. Since Songjian works overtime, Yifan searches online for ways to win a man's heart. That night, he again reminds her how many days remain until his birthday, joking that she still owes him both a meal and a gift. They continue chatting late into the night. Another flashback reveals that during college, Songjian secretly went to see Yifan on her birthday. He saw her unhappy while her mother forced her to eat cake, but lacked the courage to approach her. The next day, Yifan's friends ask about her progress. When she says nothing has happened, they suggest learning Songjian's hobbies first. Returning home, she notices him playing a game and secretly starts playing it too so they can share something in common. Though advised to play with him immediately, she decides to practice first. At work, Chung notices her playing the game and sends her a friend request under the excuse of teaching her. Meanwhile, Songjian's friends tease him about a girl chasing him. Smiling, he admits things are different this time and says he'll only accept if that girl proposes first, making everyone laugh. Xiaosha also arrives and sits beside Songjian's friend. Meanwhile, Chung repeatedly invites Yifan to play, but she rejects every request. That night, her mother calls and offers to visit and cook for her, but Yifan firmly refuses. Late that night, Songjian returns home to find Yifan sleepwalking in his bed again. Sitting beside her, he softly says, "If you want to get closer to me, do it while you're awake too." He spends the night on the sofa watching over her. In the morning, Yifan panics after waking up in his room. Songjian says she unlocked the door herself while sleepwalking. She refuses to believe him and rushes away. At work, she keeps smiling while remembering their sweet moments. Now only 15 days remain until his birthday. That evening, she asks his game rank, only to discover he's nearly at the highest level. Giving up on playing together for now, she instead invites him to dinner on Friday at a famous restaurant near her office. He happily agrees, reminding her she's finally keeping her old promise. On Friday, Yifan dresses up specially and wears the perfume he gifted her. At the restaurant, they unexpectedly run into Songjian's office party and are pulled into the celebration. There, Yifan meets her stepsister Jia, who publicly calls her Big Sister. Later, Jia tells Yifan that everyone can see Songjian treats her differently and clearly likes her. She asks for Yifan's number, but Yifan silently walks away because of painful memories. Before leaving, they take a group photo. Though Yifan stands apart, Songjian calls her beside him. On the way home, Yifan asks him for the photo. Suddenly, she receives an urgent call about a landslide and must leave immediately for reporting. Worried, Songjian asks if it's safe. She reassures him but quietly realizes she may miss his birthday. He simply tells her to return safely, hiding his true feelings so she won't be distracted. Jia later sends the group photos. Zooming in, Yifan notices Songjian was looking only at her in every picture, making her smile. Meanwhile, Songjian asks the group for the original photos, joking they're what his girlfriend would prefer, earning more teasing. At the landslide site, Yifan realizes the disaster is far worse than expected, requiring several days of reporting. She suffers a small injury behind her ear but hides it when Songjian checks on her. As the rescue continues, Songjian messages her daily, counting down to his birthday. He jokingly asks her to bring him an apple. Feeling she won't return in time, Yifan becomes sad. On Christmas, she sends him a drawing of an apple instead, promising the real one later. He simply tells her to come back safely. Gradually, she accepts she won't make it home. One day, leaving the hospital, Yifan hears someone call her name. Looking around, she finds no one, unaware someone is secretly photographing her. When the assignment ends, bad weather delays everyone's flight until the next day. At midnight, Yifan wishes Songjian happy birthday. He happily says all his reminders paid off. She apologizes for missing his birthday and tells him his cake has already been delivered home, promising his gift later. The next morning, with free time, Yifan revisits the place where they studied, eats at their favorite old restaurant, and chats with the owner. When rain begins, she posts pictures of the restaurant online. Soon, Songjian suddenly appears. Shocked, Yifan asks how he found her. He jokingly says he came through a magic door. A flashback reveals that during school, Yifan once dreamed of opening a small restaurant. Inspired by that dream, Songjian eventually opened his own restaurant without ever telling her why. Outside in the rain, Songjian finally confesses he has never stopped loving her. Smiling shyly, Yifan admits she loves him too. then laughs and asks, "So, you're my boyfriend now?" Overjoyed, Songjan happily agrees. As they walk together, he keeps the umbrella over her, getting soaked himself. When she tells him to come under it, he smiles and says chances to show love don't come often. On the way, they buy apples together, officially beginning their relationship. Another flashback reveals that before Ifan even left for the reporting assignment, Songjan had already booked a ticket, deciding that if she couldn't return for his birthday, he'd go to her instead. That night, they stay at a nearby hotel before their morning flight. Songjan jokes he traveled all this way just to collect his birthday gift. Ifan says the real gift is still at home. When he asks her to find his phone, she turns around and their lips accidentally brush. Both blush deeply. Songjian says he already received his birthday gift early. Ifan wonders how he managed to come when she couldn't even get a return ticket. He reveals he had planned everything, expecting she might miss his birthday. He even eats slowly, just to spend more time with her. Meanwhile, Xiaosha sees Ifan's post and realizes she's Songjan's girlfriend. She immediately calls Ifan. At the same time, Songjan's friend finally confesses his love to Xiaosha. The next day, while returning home, they meet Chung, who mocks Songjan, saying Ifan would never like him. Smiling, Songjan proudly replies she's already his girlfriend. Back home, he opens Ifan's birthday gift, a coat she specially chose because she'd never seen him wear that color. He loves it, but says yesterday's kiss was the best gift. Ifan blushes. He notices the wound behind her ear, gently applies medicine, and asks her to come after tomorrow's shower so he can apply it again. She misunderstands, blushes even more, and runs away after he explains. At work, Chung questions why she chose Songjian and speaks badly about him. Ifan firmly says she's loved only Songjian since childhood and tells Chung to stop wasting his time. That evening, Ifan visits Songjian's restaurant. His friends tease them. When someone notices his new coat, he proudly says it was from his girlfriend, but keeps her identity secret. Later, he tells Ifan he'll reveal everything himself one day if no one guesses. Meanwhile, Songjan's friend prepares to propose to Xiaosha. Xian reminds him that Xiaosha has suffered a lot, so he must always cherish her. That night, Ifan brings snacks for Songjian, finally keeping an old promise. While eating together, she notices a Ferris wheel, so Songjian takes her there. She secretly tries to photograph him, but he catches her. On the ride, he confidently claims he's fearless, but his fear of heights becomes obvious, making Ifan secretly laugh. After getting off, Songjian insists on another ride, saying the most beautiful view is standing beside him. He takes pictures of Ifan, they click a selfie, and at the highest point, remembering the legend, he kisses her. Both smile shyly. A flashback reveals that after discovering Ifan played a game in college, Songjian started playing it too, worked hard to reach her rank, and never stopped thinking about her. They happily return home, but that night Ifan receives a photo from an unknown number. She discovers it's her aunt's brother, the man who traumatized her childhood. Terrified, she blocks him the next day and decides to focus on happier things. For the first time, Ifan cooks for Songjian. He happily finishes everything. When she asks about the taste, he simply smiles. She jokes about poison, so he feeds her too, saying they'll eat together. She admits her sleepwalking has greatly improved since he entered her life and thanks him. He promises to always stay beside her. Days later, work keeps them busy. While covering an accident, Ifan discovers the injured taxi driver is her aunt's brother. Old memories return, ruining her mood. Back home, she hides the truth, gives Songjin a small kiss, and goes to bed. He stops her, kisses her lovingly, and comforts her. The next day, Ifan gifts him matching bracelets for Valentine's Day. Though he calls them girly, he happily wears one. He gives her a voice recorder containing his loving message, asking her to stay safe and return to her boyfriend soon. She becomes emotional. On the day of his friend's engagement party, the aunt's brother finds Ifan's workplace. At the party, everyone jokes about who's more handsome than Do-won. Even Songjan's sister chooses Do-won. Then Ifan arrives, revealing she's Songjan's girlfriend. After drinking a little too much, Ifan is carried home by Songjan. She keeps saying she's heavy, but he laughs, saying she's too light. She falls asleep on the sofa, so he carries her to bed. Even asleep, she keeps calling his name, so he sleeps beside her. The next morning, both feel awkward. That evening at the restaurant, Ifan unexpectedly meets the same man again. Songjan arrives and asks if she knows him. She denies it, and they leave together. The man threatens they'll meet again. Though Songjan senses something is wrong, Ifan only tells him to ignore the man. That night, the shock triggers her sleepwalking again. Songjan gently guides her back to bed. Even asleep, she tightly holds his hand, so he stays with her all night. The next morning, he jokes she came into his room again, but she doesn't believe him. At work, Ifan discovers the same man has become the office security guard. she panics. Later, Chung invites her to his farewell party. After work, the man confronts her, calls his crime a small mistake, blames her for ruining his life, then leaves when Chung arrives. Meanwhile, Songjan's restaurant is falsely accused of food poisoning and temporarily shut down. Seeing the man nearby, Songjan realizes who's behind it but hides it from Ifan. Later, Ifan receives a message from her mother, warning her to stay away from Songjan, and realizes the man framed him. Furious, she confronts her mother, aunt, and the man, warning him never to interfere again. Her aunt reminds her of old favors, but Ifan says nothing can repay what her father did for them. She also tells her mother she no longer expects anything from the woman who abandoned her. Back home, Ifan blames herself for the restaurant's closure. Though Songjian comforts her, she secretly decides leaving him is the only way to protect him. While he's away meeting his sister, she quietly leaves, saying goodbye only from the airport before disappearing that night. She asks only her friend to care for her cat. When her friend discovers she's gone, Songjian rushes home and finds her farewell letter explaining she's leaving because staying together would always endanger him. She begs him not to search for her. Ignoring the letter, Songjian files a police report and searches everywhere. Ifan moves to Hong Kong. He visits her old house, college, workplace, and aunt's home, learning how difficult her life had always been. Seeing the tiny room where she once lived leaves him heartbroken. Later, Ifan's friend confirms she's safe but won't reveal her location. Alone in Hong Kong, Ifan recalls the truth of her past. The flashback reveals her aunt's brother tried to assault her while she was alone. Escaping by jumping through a window, she was blamed instead. Worst of all, her own mother believed the man over her. Heartbroken, Ifan left forever. This trauma has haunted her ever since. In Hong Kong, Xian recognizes her. Though she first avoids him, she finally tells him everything. Having quit journalism, she's now working part-time. Back home, the same man harasses a female customer at Songjian's restaurant. Songjian beats him, and during the fight, the man admits he once tried the same with Ifan, making Songjian even angrier. Later, Xian tells Songjian Ifan is somewhere in Hong Kong. Songjian immediately flies there and searches every hotel. He narrowly misses her, even eating at the restaurant where she's working without realizing she's there. His friends continue searching. The next day, they finally find Ifan. She says she'll call Songjian herself. The moment she does, he catches the next flight. She has been teaching children for a dance competition, where they win second place. Songjian hugs her, both embarrassed in front of the children. At the hotel, Ifan finally reveals everything about her aunt's brother and why she left to protect him. Songjian says none of it was her fault and promises the man will be punished. Together, they return home, and Ifan vows never to run away again. Later, Ifan meets her aunt's daughter-in-law, who reveals the man also tried to assault her. She secretly recorded his confession, exposing that he had previously raped and murdered Ifan's school friend while the aunt covered it up for money. Shocked, Ifan reports everything, and the story goes viral. Meanwhile, Songjian confronts the criminal outside Ifan's office. During the fight, the man attacks him with a knife. Learning this, Ifan rushes toward the hospital. Stuck in traffic, she runs the rest of the way until Songjian calls from another phone, assuring her he's safe. At the hospital, she finds 8 stitches on his hand. He smiles, saying the criminal has finally been arrested. The police also arrest Ifan's aunt for helping him, and both receive severe punishment. At last, Ifan and her childhood friend receive justice. Life finally becomes peaceful again. Ifan helps the injured Songjian change clothes, leading to sweet romantic moments. Soon, Ifan's mother apologizes for never believing her, but Ifan says their relationship ended the day her mother chose the criminal over her. She also says her mother remarried soon after her father's death, making her feel abandoned forever. Though her mother is now alone, Ifan cannot forgive her. Later, Songjian takes Ifan home, where his family warmly accepts her. That night, they spend peaceful time together. The next day, he takes her to their old school. A flashback reveals he had loved her from their very first meeting and intentionally got close to her. Their friends gather wearing school uniforms, recreating old memories. Finally, Songjian kneels with a ring and asks Ifan to spend her life with him. Through tears, she happily says yes. They exchange a kiss, bringing their beautiful love story to a happy ending.